Yo, what is up guys? It's the Goblin, and tonight's video is going to be a very important video, at least to myself and probably to anyone that does care about the Call of Duty franchise, because as a person that myself, I started playing this game in high school, and I've played it most days of my life since then for over a decade now. And I'm someone that knows pretty much the ins and outs of mostly every Call of Duty game as far as the multiplayer and as far as a public player on this game. And that's why I really want to make this video, and I've been wanting to make this video for a while, but every time I think about it and, I write down some notes and stuff, it always gets hard for me because I'm a very emotional person, and Call of Duty is, well, I know to most people watching this, they're gonna think already, what are you emotional over a video game? To most people, that's just a casual game they hop on after work, but to me, this game has given me so much and has meant so much to me. I mean, through Call of Duty, which started as a hobby, which I did with my high school friends, a way that we would all connect after school, and, friends from high school, friends from hockey, and then it turned into something where I made a bunch more friends, some of the best friends I've ever had in my life, and still have to this day through this game and through meeting people online, people that I've met up with, and then of course it also became my job and basically my career, and this game has given me so much, and I think I've given a lot to this game as well, and that's why making this video is just something that I want to talk about, because there's something that I really value. Like, at this point, I feel like I don't really give a fuck anymore, to be honest, and that's not about Call of Duty. I give so much fucks about Call of Duty. I don't really give a fuck about not saying how I feel. I really still do enjoy making videos and talking. I mean, I think that I have this talent or skill, whatever you want to call it. I would say it's, everyone likes to put everything on talent, but when I first started making videos, I mean, I wasn't like this. It's something that you develop. I've done over like 3,000 videos. I don't know how many commentary videos, but I have this ability where most of my videos, whether they're, 10 minutes long, 15 minutes long, most of those videos, and I mean the far majority of those videos, are just me hitting record and just going and talking purely based off. I might have literally 5 lines written down. Most of the time I don't have really anything written down. I might have, an article up on the screen or a class step up on the screen that I'm going to talk about, but it's just me talking based off my passion and my knowledge and going through and talking about everything about the game. And that's what I love to do. I love to talk, I love to express myself, and I love to be myself. And that's what I'm going to do in this video. I'm going to say it how it is, say how I'm feeling about Call of Duty, say how this franchise has completely switched up and how it's genius, but at the same time, of course, when something is genius and helps a lot of people, it also does hurt a significant amount of people as well. And I'm just going to basically let it all fly, and I'm going to try to not get emotional in this video, but like I said, I am an emotional person, and this means a lot to me. YouTube, Call of Duty, the audience, everything like that means a lot to me. So I'm going to try my best, but if there is a video that I could use your guys' support on, you guys could drop a like on it and drop a comment, whether you're, throughout the video or whether when you're done watching, letting me know how you feel and how you reacted to this video. I would very much appreciate it. I know there's people that have been supporting me for so long, so if there's a video that I could use some support on, smack a like, or, smack a dislike. I mean, what do I give a fuck? If you really hate me that much or hate what I'm saying, it's not hate me, of course, hate what I'm saying in this video, go ahead and smack a dislike after you're done watching, of course. And also, yeah, that's just about it, I guess. Like I said, this is a video that you're probably going to want to watch towards the end until the end, and I know this video, it's going to be long as heck. I'm already 3 minutes in just on the intro, but that's because this matters to me. So grab some popcorn, sit back, relax, or play a game, or watch a stream on mute while you're listening to this. Who knows what you want to do. So Call of Duty, I still love Call of Duty, and Call of Duty on the outside, it's the same. To a casual fan, Call of Duty is the same as it's always been. You pick up a gun, you pick up a class, you shoot some people, and you get a streak. You call it in, blah, blah, blah. Yo, run to the flag. On the outside, it's the same. Even to people that are fans of this game and, players that might be a casual fan, but a casual fan for 10 years, which is, is that really a casual fan? But someone that plays maybe just on weekends, but they've been following the franchise for 10 years. To them, it's all still the same. But to someone like me that, this game has been a huge part of my life, I notice every little change that's made, and basically everything about the multiplayer experience has been changed because of the business plan, and because of Call of Duty ultimately is a business. And that's why I want to make this clear. I'm very happy. I'm very happy that Call of Duty is bigger than ever, and it's going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and more casual players are going to come into the game, and that makes me smile, because I know a lot of people get to enjoy what I've enjoyed for so long. That's awesome, and that's absolutely amazing. But at the same time, the way that they're doing that, of course, when there's winners, sometimes there has to be losers, and the way that they're doing that is by changing basically all the stuff that the fan base and the hardcore public players built up this game with, or that they, you know, sort of their business plan completely switched, and they had to switch everything back to appeal now to a different type of audience, which makes the game bigger and better, and it's awesome, and I'm happy for the growth. And I also, like, I agree with their business. It's a business at the end of the day, right? So, I mean, they're making the right business decision, but for the hardcore fans of Call of Duty, these last two games, especially Modern Warfare and Cold War, everything is completely switched, and it was gradual in Modern. I mean, it's hugely significant in Modern Warfare, but this year they've absolutely maxed out everything. It's genius design, and I'm just going to go through, and once again, this is all just my opinion, so you could tell me I'm completely wrong on everything, but this is an opinion of someone that I think is justified to have an opinion because of how much time I put into this game and how much I understand the game. So, like I said, let's just get into it. On the outside, it's the same, but on the inside, everything is changed, and I wrote down this is genius design due to a switch in business plan. So, for example, Modern Warfare 2, which came out in, I believe, 2009, was when I first started getting into Call of Duty. And back in Modern Warfare 2, the game was designed around basically just, you know, everything was very overpowered. You know, you had completely overpowered stuff, streaks, where if you could get 7 kills, you could get a Harrier Strike, call that in, get from 7 kills up to 11, and get a chopper gunner or an AC-130, and then a lot of the time, that would just carry you up to 25 kills. You'd be able to connect with those 14 kills, and you'd still even have your Harrier going up and get the nuke, which the nuke actually ended the game. So you could be in domination, you could be camping, the score could be 30 to 190. Hey guys, I got this nuke, and you just call it in and you win the game. So that was basically the plan, and you know, we saw this in a bunch of other games. Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, the overpowered kill streaks and rewarding good players, which was their game plan, because they wanted their hardcore audience to continue to play the game, because how they would make money is off sales on the $60 game, and then off sales off of the $60 map pack. And then when we got into more like Black Ops 2 and COD Ghosts, which those games were still, Ghost was a little bit different design, but Black Ops 2, you know, your dogs and Swarm, if you get those streaks, you're going to absolutely, the hardcore player that gets those streaks is going to absolutely destroy onto the casual fan. Although Black Ops 2 is a little more interesting because they had skill-based matchmaking in that game for like the first couple months, and then they completely removed it, which is so interesting, especially due to the time that came out, 2012, where nowadays it's completely, you know, everything has skill-based matchmaking pretty much, but it was completely different back then, and not many people knew about it or anything like that. But so that was their business plan, right? $60 game, $60 map pack, and then they'll sell you like the bacon cam, or they'll sell you the Peacekeeper DLC with BO2. They wanted the hardcore players. And then as the business plan developed, and this all comes down to a business plan, because even for us as the fans, we see Call of Duty as, you know, it's a video game, it's a fair game, it's an esport, but at the end of the day, they're willing to change anything in a split-second decision. Well, it's not split-second, it's just based on analytics that's going to make them more money, which is how businesses have to run, you know, because I also have stocks, and I think I have some stocks, or I do have some stocks in Activision, so it's like, you know, just in my investments, I have stocks in a bunch of stuff, but that's one thing I have, and they're like a publicly traded company, or whatever it's called, and so it's like they have to do what's the best for their investors, what's going to make them the most money. That completely makes sense, but that's by changing the plan, right? So the way that the plan changed is when the supply drops came out, and basically loot boxes in other games, supply drops in this game, they figured out, oh my goodness, we can make an unbelievable amount of money by putting in weapons that actually change the game and selling them to people and making people spend their money and sort of have to roll these slots to try to get these weapons. And that was still, though, even though that completely changed what they were selling, it didn't change the overall business plan of the game, because the people buying the most amount of those boxes were still the hardcore players. I probably spent a couple $1,000 in BO3 alone on supply drops, and I know a bunch of other YouTubers did, and even casual players were spending, you know, a decent amount of money, and that system worked very, very well with that. And then eventually they realized now the business plan has switched to now where gaming is so damn big, and the entry fee to games, what they do with the Warzone is they make it free to play and use that as sort of a funnel, whether they get people in the Warzone and then sell stuff to them through there, or also funnel them through the Warzone. Call of Duty is getting a lot bigger too, and they still have the plan where they sell you the game for $60 because they've already established that business plan. There's no reason to make that game free. It's pretty smart what they did with the Warzone version is free, but the game still costs $60 because they have millions of people already willing to commit that $60, including myself and probably a lot of people watching this video, to the game every single year. So where the business plan switched up there is now that it appeals way more towards casual fans instead of the hardcore supporters and players of this game. And that's simply because even if they have one player that's a 5 KD that plays it all day, if by pushing him out with the changes, they're going to bring in 10 new players, which they won't individually spend more money than him, but added up, they will destroy him in money, and that's all that matters is the overall money, right? So that's basically how it works. So they figured out that with casual players, of course, casual players want to have the best experience, and that makes them play the game longer. It's, it's common sense like that. But with the amount of player base shifting, that's where all this stuff shifts. And of course, the most notable switch is with skill-based matchmaking, which we're going to talk about later here because that's such a huge topic. But that's not just it. It's not like they just hit skill-based matchmaking and then, okay, well, now the casual players stay in lobbies of themselves. They don't have to worry. And the hardcore players, play in lobbies of themselves. And obviously they know hardcore players hate that. 3KD players do not like running in those lobbies, and they're slowly pushing them out of the game. But they're totally cool with it because they're protecting all those other players. Like I said, the example, 10 of those players having a good time makes them more than one good player having a good time. They don't really care if that guy quits the game or complains all day on Reddit or Twitter. They'll just get out of here, bro. Go play Valorant or CSGO. We got 10 new kids that we just got in through Warzone that are absolutely loving this game because we've designed it around them. So let me explain and go through each of these dynamic areas before we get into the big one, skill base, of how I think this game has shifted and completely changed the dynamics or the fundamentals or whatever you want to call it that made this game what it is. Call of Duty was built on absolutely just getting those streaks and doing damage, destroying people with streaks. That's what appealed Call of Duty over Battlefield to the majority of people. Battlefield, I played Battlefield. I played Bad Company 2. It was a fun game. Battlefields, I played some other Battlefields too. I don't really even remember which ones. They were fun, but it wasn't the same as those small maps where you get rewarded for the time you put in by getting kill streaks. You get rewarded for practicing a lot more on Call of Duty. So now they've switched that up. And the first thing is the kill streaks, right? So kill streaks are now score streaks, and the one life score streaks are just gone. They just eliminated it. One of the main things that appealed people to Call of Duty in the first place, they just took it away. They still have score streaks, but now it doesn't matter if you die, which completely, it doesn't matter with points, but it doesn't, if you died one off of your dogs and swarm combo in BO2, you just got your game ruined. If this system was in BO2 and you died one off, well, just run back to B-Flag, get a kill. It completely switches it completely kills a lot of skill gap right there. And that's where a lot of these changes, when you're appealing more towards a casual fan, it's all about killing that skill gap. And Call of Duty was already a low skill gap game, not to their fault, just due to the design of a Twitch shooter. Whoever shoots first wins, but the guns are, it's different than like an H1Z1 where if I shoot at Ninja, he can just park his car, turn around, and two-tap me in the head because he's way better than me. Same with CSGO. I just can't win a gunfight against those people. If you put a casual player up against Scump, he might get a couple kills. He might, he probably will get a couple just because he'll catch him looking the other way or he'll do something like that, especially in a 6v6 game. Casual people will kill Scump all the time. When in a CSGO deathmatch, if you put a pro player in there, he's going to just destroy people, right? If in a lobby with just average skill people. So with the score streak system, that of course lowers the skill gap. Next is with the map design. And with the map design, they went really, really in depth into killing the skill gap with the map design in this game. A lot of it is just around basically what they want to do with the maps is they just want, ideally they've realized that with monetization and retention, the more they can get people close to a 1 kill death ratio and a 1 win loss ratio, the more their numbers go up overall. So they want to eliminate as many people as they can from those 5 win loss ratios, 5 KD ratios, and pull everyone down towards a 1 because that maximizes the average playtime, which maximizes their amount of money they're going to make and the amount of people that are going to be playing the game, having fun, and monetized, which is, like I said, it's awesome and it's amazing that This system obviously works, and it's the best. It's the best for the most people. More people are enjoying the game, and it's amazing. But the way that they do it is, of course, by doing this sort of stuff. So with the maps, for example, let me give you a few examples on this game of the sneaky little ways that they've changed it and added different map designs that we wouldn't really see in any other Call of Duty game. So for example, Cartel. This is the most notable one. On previous CODs, one of the tips I would always say is, play around the outskirts of the map and catch those noobs running through the middle. Well, now on Cartel, first of all, there's not going to be noobs if you're a good player, because they'll take you out with skill-based, and they'll keep the noobs protected in their own lobbies. But even if you are, the Cartel, the middle of the whole map is just bushes, which is just an obvious thing to, once again, brings everyone closer to that 1 KD, covering the middle with bushes. It's genius. Of course it does. When they're going into these meetings, and if they're talking about, how can we, lower the skill gap? Well, cover the whole map in a freaking cornfield bushes. It's not a cornfield, but you know what I mean. It's literally genius, and it's not hiding. I mean, it's not even genius. It's common sense. It's just not hiding anything. Another example is Crossroads. On that map, the 1-lane passage they have between the 2 upper areas. It's literally 1 lane. So it doesn't matter if you're the best player with the best aim. Those gunfights are going to be 50-50'd more than gunfights out in the open, because they've literally limited you to that 1 passage. Once again, very smart design. Another one, Checkmate. The inside of a plane? Who would ever want to have a Call of Duty map in the inside of the plane? There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to outplay. There's nowhere to do anything. And that's what they like. It creates much more 50-50 gunfights and much more 1KDs. Also with Checkmate, you're going to just have boxes all over the map and basically no flank routes, which flanking was a big part of Call of Duty. They've done a lot to kill flanking in a game like this, and also increasing the counter lines of sight. So even if you're posted up on Checkmate at one spot, where in a previous COD, like firing range, for example, the top of firing range, will we ever see something like that again? Because that was a place where the good players will go and could dominate. There were some lines of sight that could counter it, a few of them, but nowadays, if they designed firing range, they would have to make so many more different head glitches all around so that people could have great angles into the top of firing range. Also, probably they'd take out that, the top middle, that little square metal thing. Why am I doing the design changes for them? You know what I mean? Like, this is just how they're thinking about it, and that's how it would be, because power positions don't help get the average KD to a 1. They help the good players who put the time in and understand those power positions do better, right? So those are a few of the changes. Cartel, Checkmate, Crossroads. Satellite is another one, where Satellite, even if you get them back into a spawn trap, all they have to do on both sides is move out of the spawn a tiny bit, and you have these sand dunes which have the most ridiculous it's not like you can see above their neck, and you can just see like the top of their eyeballs, like I guess you could, yeah, the top of their eyeballs, top of their forehead. I mean, very, very strong head glitches, which of course the more they can do that, the more it once again evens out the game. So flanking has been definitely taken down quite a bit. Spawn protection, especially with streaks. If you notice on Nuketown, watch any other gameplay on Nuketown, you have the streaks, you're just wrecking people in the spawn. Now they give the people spawn protection enough time to run into the houses, because of course more people, if they're just getting wrecked in the spawn, they're going to leave the game and they're not going to get back on the game, and that means no money for Activision. So they need to let them get into the house so that people can still enjoy that game, right? And same thing, like for example, Terminal Modern Warfare 2 is like the best example of this. They do not want that anymore. Where you spawn in and a team has set up spawn trapping you, that probably drove some people away from the game. That's terrible for them. Even though the people on the other end were having fun of it, and they probably deserve to have that fun, because it's not easy, or else you'd see every game of Terminal Domination being spawn trapped like that, spraying through the wall. You have to set it up, right? But that, even if it's set up, it of course kills the fun for the other players, and then of course kills the monetization across the average. So that's what I'd say. Yeah, spawn protection, flanking has been taken down, increased counter lines of sights, like my example with the firing range. Spawns also further back with cover available. We saw a lot of these changes happen in Modern Warfare 2 as well, where they started putting extending the maps really far back, and even putting buildings back there and a bunch of cover. So even when you spawn, you have cover. That's not how previous games worked in Call of Duty. So that's what I'd say as far as the maps being changed. Next is like just small stuff like the prestige system. This one is kind of not a big deal. It's just obvious, the prestige system, they let you go to a certain point and then they make you wait till next season so then you get back on next season and play more. That's fine. That's totally fine. This one that really bugs me is the release as a beta. Now, previous times when Call of Duty released, that was it. We got the Call of Duty multiplayer and we could cover everything. Nowadays, it feels like the release is the beta because, for example, in this game, I'm a multiplayer fan. There's 8 maps. There's 8 maps for 6v6, right? So in previous CODs, we've had like 14, 15, 16, stuff like that. And of course, this game, it's going to end up probably with 15 to 20 multiplayer maps, but they're going to release those with a slow drip to just keep getting people to hop back when they get bored on the game. Boom. Now when their numbers are down, post this update so people get back on. Post this update so people get back on, along with applying it, with the free maps, and then they'll sell you different stuff in the item shop as well. Because that's all it comes down to. They want people to play more so that the people playing more spend more money on average, right? So that's it with the release. It feels like the game releases in sort of beta form because you're paying $60 for beta form and then you have to just sort of wait, which is fine. Kind of, but not really, because by the time they add all these cool maps, people are either going to be bored with the game, they're going to be moved on to other games, or most commonly, they're going to be playing Warzone, right? So, and I guess that's what they want to do. That makes sense. They want to wait till Warzone is out and flourishing for them to put more stuff into the multiplayer, because Warzone is their biggest marketer. It's free to play, and it drives people to, wait, I love Warzone. These weapons are, like, for example, that when they integrate these Black Ops Cold War weapons into Warzone, I would assume they're going to make the weapons a lot stronger than the Modern Warfare weapons, because why wouldn't they? If those weapons are a lot stronger, people playing the free-to-play Warzone are going to have fun with those weapons, and then they're going to say, well, I'm good with these weapons, I should buy the game, and they're going to pull out their $60 and buy the game. So that's what we have as far as it releasing as in sort of beta form, as I would say. And another thing is even with the attachments, like for example, this was a tweet on release day, November 13th. Clayster, who is a Call of Duty pro player, he tweeted, "Too many attachments gives me anxiety," and it was quote tweeted by David Vonderhaar from Treyarch saying, "You have no idea." So that basically implies that they're going to add more attachments into this game in future seasons. And of course, if my assumptions are correct, which I don't see why they would add attachments that suck, they're going to add attachments that are significantly stronger than the ones we have now. So people have to go back on and then grind out more and more levels. And then as you're grinding more and more levels, they're adding more stuff into the shop, which is enticing you to buy. I mean, it's all a great business plan, and I agree with the business plan. I can see both sides. I can see the player base. I can see the creator side as the YouTuber. I can see the side of the business as well, because I mean, if I was working for them, I would be doing it. I wouldn't want to work for them because I wouldn't want to be doing this sort of stuff. But if, for example, I was, yeah, I'd be giving them all sorts of ideas like this on how to. It's just all around the monetization, right? So that's what we have as far as that. So there's probably more attachments. So because of all this stuff, the game, like for example, class setups, right? I love making class setup videos, and I love giving you guys the best class setups. And sometimes, I see like people doing class setups on TikTok, and it's like, these guys just get the attachments they don't care at all. They just use these attachments. Oh, I got 1 million views, I'm the best. Like, they don't really spend that much time or any thought into giving you the best class setup, it doesn't seem. Or maybe they do. Honestly, I didn't want to put that on them, because they probably do spend the time to think about it, and they just don't have the knowledge, because they probably haven't been playing the game for 10 years and testing out everything over that long period of time. But for example, for the class setups in this game, I was having a lot of fun making class setup videos, right? And then eventually I realized, wait a second, it's the fucking same attachments on almost every setup. And what attachments are they? Dun, dun, dun. Of course, it's the last unlocked attachments, because they make the weapon XP grind hard. They make it a bunch of levels, and then they put the best stuff at last so that you're encouraged to play more and more and more and more, right? Which makes sense, which it completely makes sense, and it's great that they're encouraging people to play more, and that makes them more money. But the bad thing is that they claim that they have all this customizability with the class setups. Is that even a word? I don't know. But the class setups are so customizable, right? Look at all these. I have so many different laser sights. I have so many different barrels. But when the last barrel is the best almost every time, what's the customization ends as soon as you hit the max rank. You know the best one. And of course why would they make the second one the best? Because then people would get the second one and, oh, they're cool and they don't need to keep grinding the game. They have to make it at the bottom, right, to make the most amount of playtime, which equals the most amount of money. Another thing with the class setups, for example, is the shotgun secondaries. In previous CODs, we would have where, we saw in Modern Warfare 2, shotgun secondaries aren't the most fair thing. They are very fun, though, and they make people enjoy the game, and that's why they do it, because it's fun for players, and it's monetizable. You know, when people don't have a secondary or the secondary pistols, who's going to buy a blueprint for a pistol or for a knife? Not many people. But when they have 2 shotguns in the game, and of course they're going to add more as DLC, and they're going to monetize those heavily, and basically everyone's going to run that shotgun secondary, even though if it doesn't make them for the most fair playtime experience, that gives them 2 weapons in each class up to monetize on, which is an obvious thing to do, right? That's what I would say as far as that. So as far as a Call of Duty game, when it comes down to it, Call of Duty games usually come down to, and I've said this in my previous videos like over the years, the maps, the streaks, and the guns, on how much you enjoy the game. Now, as far as the guns, I love the gunplay in this game. And I think that, but the setups and stuff, it's just all programmed around, you know, making you play the most. The streaks, it's just trash. It's just absolutely trash. The streaks is designed so that everyone has a chance of getting a chopper gunner, because that makes people more excited to play the game, right? It's common sense. Maps, once again, they're designed just in mind of keeping everyone around that same, cutting down the skill gap and not adding more stuff to learn and more. There's not much to learn about the maps, you know? It's sort of just, you figure it out, and then it is what it is. And then they do their best to randomize it with these 1-lane passages, with the bushes on Cartel, with a map like Checkmate is just the absolute most genius design. The middle of the plane, you have no ability to outplay really, and the outskirts is just constant head glitches with boxes, and you don't have any flank routes. You have the routes on the side which just lead right out. It's not even a flank, like, it's just a square box, right? So the flanks are just, I mean, that map looks like it's one of those maps you would play on one of those free-to-play shooters on PC or something like that, you know? So as far as, yeah, that's basically all the stuff where they try to, their business plan shifted. So I hope you guys are I know this is hard for me to explain because I'm not the best at explaining it, and I'm not trying to trash on the game at all. I'm saying what they're doing is right, and it's the best for the overall fan base, but I hope you guys can understand how those hardcore players that put in so many years to get good and increase that skill gap are just seeing themselves get pulled down, not to any fault of their own, due to purposeful design. But on the outside, it still seems like, hey, it's just Call of Duty. It's just the same thing, right, bro? But it's not. Everything has been strategically changed around the business plan, which is smart and the right move, right? So next is with skill-based matchmaking. And skill-based matchmaking, of course, is the main thing that helps the casual players. All this stuff I just talked about is just little extra little details. But the skill-based matchmaking is ideal, and that's what the overall player base likes and increases their retention. And you know, I saw, was it Nero Cinema called it monetized matchmaking or something on Twitter? I thought that was pretty funny, but that's basically what it is. And to the casual people, or people that they think, oh, they're doing this to make the game fair and blah, they don't give a damn about that. They just want people, you know, whatever makes people play the longest, they're going to click on that and just do that. There's no thought into what's the best for the overall, like for our hardcore fans. Well, maybe we should tone it down a little for them, or they don't care at all. Why would they? Just, hey, screw that. If all the hardcore fans move on and go play games with higher skill gaps, like a Fortnite or a Valorant or a League of Legends, they don't give a fuck. You know, it's just a business. So they know that when they add skill-based, all those 2 and 3 KD players, they're not going to like it. They're overwhelmingly going to hate it. And that's why you see the feedback on Reddit and Twitter. You'd think everyone hates skill-based, because the majority of players on Reddit, or not the majority, but a lot of players on Reddit and Twitter, your average guy that goes on Reddit, Twitter, and YouTube for Call of Duty is going to be a lot better than your average guy that just logs on to play the game. And the whole skill-based thing exists more as a, you know, I see the other people say, why don't they add ranked play? Well, that would ruin it. It's sort of an illusion where if those bad players who are going 30 and 5 in the worst possible lobby, if they had a big fat, hey, you're in bronze 5 above their head, that would ruin it. You know, that wouldn't make it as cool or as fun for them, and that would make them play less. So it's sort of having the MMR system that they've designed. It's not just a skill based on your KD or score per minute or something like more low key like it was in AW. It just follows everything. It's a complete MMR system like they have in these very competitive games like a League of Legends or Valorant, except in those games, of course, you know your rank, you know where you stand amongst the player base. In this game, they keep that all hidden because it wouldn't make sense for them to show it. People don't want to know. They don't want to know. They want to just play the game, and that's why COD is a casual game, and that's why it makes the most sense. So what this does with skill-based is it makes the game for any YouTuber or a pub stomper especially, which if you think about pub stomping, and that's what the majority of you guys who are fans that have been watching these big gameplays, you guys have been watching pub stomping for the last 10 years or so. And pub stomping is public stomping. And a lot of times that would happen in domination. So if you just think of just the words, right? Public stomping in domination it's obvious you're not playing against people your own skill level. And, you know, in other Call of Duty games where you would just queue up and you would get an average skill lobby every single time because it wasn't based on skill base, it was just based on connection. So they just, hey, there's 10 kids in your area ready to go. They'll just throw them in there. You'd be able to get those games. However, in a game like this, you're almost never going to get a game like that if you have good stats, because not only is it skill-based matchmaking, it's also team-based balancing and performance-based matchmaking. So performance-based matchmaking is another thing where it's designed to keep people and play the game. It's not about being fair. So if you lose 2 games in a row, it's going to put you in an easier game, and it's also going to put you with the best side of that team probably, because they don't want you, they have certain numbers. I'm just making up the 2 in a row. I don't know the actual numbers of it, but you know, if they don't want you to lose every single game in a row, you're going to log off. So if you lose 2 in a row, why not give you a free win basically by putting you on a team with the best side of the players so they know you're statistically probably going to win that game? It makes sense. Why wouldn't they do that? But it completely ruins the sort of knowing, like, or any sort of integrity of, hey, did we deserve that win? Were these teams fair? Was the lobby fair? All that is out the window. But it doesn't matter because COD's a casual game. No one gives a fuck about that. They just, you know, people just hop on and shoot. No one except people that actually understand the game or care about the game, understand that or care about that. So with skill-based matchmaking, basically, if you're a really good player, let's say you're a 4 KD player. I've been a 4 KD player, 3 to 4 KD player across most of the Call of Duty games, right? So it's going to put you with the best players it can find, which it's not going to be able to put you with all 4 KD players. So you're not playing in a true competitive match. It's going to put you with, you know, some 2s, some 2.5s, maybe a 1.8, maybe a 3, something like that. And then it's also going to put you, because you're probably going to be the best person in that lobby, even on a skill-based lobby, if you have 4 KD, you know, and it's not just about your KD, it's about your MMR, right? If you have 4 KD camping in noob lobbies, it's going to know that because the MMR system is so smart. But so if you're the best of the best, it's going to put you with the worst side of the in the best possible lobby with the worst side of the lobby and expect you to carry them every time, because that's just what's the matchmaking is prioritizing as far as the monetized matchmaking, as you can say. So what this forces on YouTubers is pretty much almost every YouTuber right now is going to be joining into lobbies. And what joining into lobbies means is you can't just click and join a match by yourself. No one's going to want to watch that. It's going to be great players going, you know, 40 and 20 all day. No one wants to watch that. If people wanted to watch that, and even the people that are going to say right now, well, we do want to watch that, then you can go watch competitive players. There's a reason why pub stomping and that public match footage has always been more popular than competitive on YouTube. It's more exciting to watch. Even, for example, Scump, who's one of the best players ever. I watched, and he got a real nuclear in Cold War, and it was on the Checkmate map. He got a real nuclear playing with a couple of his buddies, but just in the, you know, I think they joined up the lobby legitimately. Most likely they did, and, you know, and he got the nuke, but it took him like 5 minutes or so. I don't know exactly how long, but he was just sitting in the middle. It was boring as fuck, and that's not, you know, Scump is a very entertaining player, but that one was boring as fuck. If you watch Scump in BO2, 88 and no sweat banding or something like that, those are way more exciting. After I watched that video, I was bored. I went right into my search bar and I typed in SwagXBL Infinite Warfare and watched him hopping around on players to drop a deatomizer bomb. It was so fucking entertaining. And that's what I like to watch, and that's what the audience likes to watch as well. Even though the people in the audience are going to deny it, it's just like this skill-based crap. Skill-based matchmaking is what the audience prefers in Call of Duty, and pub stomping footage over people playing their own skill level is what the audience prefers on a YouTube scene of that. So like I said, what it does is it forces YouTubers, because you can't get any footage that's worth watching unless you want to convert yourself to be a competitive player starting right now by force. You can't get any footage that's worth watching in your normal lobbies, so you'll join into other lobbies. And mostly every YouTuber is doing this. Well, if you're a pub stomping YouTuber, you're pretty much forced into it. And how you do this is you either have a friend with just lower stats and you join his lobby once he's in one, you know, just join in session in the lobby or in the game. Or the main way is if you have, you know, say you have a PS4 and another PS4, you just do it yourself with 2 consoles. Or if you have a PS4 and a PC, you just do it yourself like that. And that's basically how everyone is, you know, getting gameplays and stuff. Now, this sucks. And the common misconception with this is that YouTubers, people that hate on the YouTubers, I mean, it's totally understandable why people hate on the YouTubers. I just think it's directed in the wrong place, because the YouTubers don't want to do that. YouTubers just want to click the game and wreck people in a normal lobby based on the 10 years of getting their skills up that they've put in. But that's not an option anymore. No one wants to see that footage, right? And YouTubers, they also don't want to play against those worst of the worst kids, like you saw in that exclusive Ace Twitter clip where he made a new account and got it to like the worst of the worst, and he was just shooting behind people. And and the people weren't even like responding to him. Like it was just ridiculous. No one wants to watch that either. That you want to watch people, pub stomping against lesser skilled people, but not the people that can't even shoot back. That's boring too. So, but the YouTubers, like I said, so they're joining into, including myself, joining session onto into other lobbies and then getting the footage like that themselves. And of course, it's understandable why the audience hates that, but the hate on the YouTubers, it's the common misconception is people think the YouTubers are Dr. Evil, like, I'm going to beat up on the, yes, skill-based is in the game, yes, let's beat up on some kids. It's the complete opposite. Skill-based is in the game, are you fucking kidding me? I hate this fucking bullshit, I have to use 2 consoles. That's exactly how it feels, for all these creators. It's not like, it's stupid, but it's the right thing for the overall audience of Call of Duty. And most YouTubers, right, they just do it and say nothing about it, which is the smart thing to do, I guess. Like, why would you say anything about it? Because then it just makes people mad. And they get mad for an understandable reason. If a YouTuber, drops 100 to 0, but you're playing in your normal lobbies, you're never going to know who's better. You're never going to, comparisons are just completely out the window. That's why I don't really give a shit about gameplays or this guy got a double nuke or who cares? Personally, that's how I feel. I like to watch for entertainment, and I think those gameplays are so entertaining, but as far as comparing, like, you can't really compare because it's about who are your enemies and who are you playing and what are your, there's just so many different factors that go into it. So that's basically what it is as far as everything with this game. I mean, I'm 35 minutes in. I know I'm just sort of rambling, but I hope you guys kind of understand what I'm explaining here. Let me give a little summary so far of what we've talked about. So the summary so far is that Call of Duty has completely switched their business plan, which is great. It's great for the players obviously enjoy it more and they play more. However, the hardcore players absolutely hate it. And that's why you see this reaction on Reddit and Twitter. You'd think everyone hates skill-based matchmaking when of course it's just the good players hate it. And they know that, the Activision knows that, but it's not even close to if it's worth it to be put in the game. Of course it is for them. And so that's basically why it is. Now, with YouTubers joining in, people are going to get upset at that, but I just think it's understandable why it's upsetting, because if you're a player that's a good player as well and you don't go for gameplays, or you're not a YouTuber, so you're not incentivized to get into those lobbies, and then the game just kind of sucks for you and you're kind of just in tough luck, and you see all these YouTubers having fun and that hurts you, so then maybe people hate on YouTubers. And then for YouTubers, or not just YouTubers, but people with 4KDs, they say all the people that are new players into Call of Duty having an amazing time, which makes me so happy that people are getting that experience. But it also makes me feel like that SpongeBob meme where I'm Squidward looking out through the window and it write 4KD on me and write 0.8 KD on the guy's head, where it's like, oh my god, I remember when COD was just so fun and like that, but now that's not really, and it can still be fun. Like if you do want to become a competitive player, then you might like skill-based. But like I said, the most YouTubers were pub stomping in domination. It's common sense. Public stomping and domination. You don't want to play against your equal. You'll never stomp them and you'll never dominate them, or else they wouldn't be your equal, right? So that's basically everything that I want to talk about. Now, what does this mean for me? Like I said, I wanted to just chill back and upload some class setups and cover that sort of stuff this year, and that's what I was doing. And then I realized, dude, even the class setups are kind of bullshit, because after doing it for a week, I realized this is kind of bullshit, because with class setups, like I said, they just made the last attachment the best ones, and then I sat there for 2 minutes to think about it. Oh, well, of course, it makes sense. Why wouldn't they do that? It makes people play more, and makes them more, more retention, is going to turn into more monetization. So what does this mean for me? As far as, I still want to do the same content, right? And as far as multiplayer, with Warzone, I'm actually excited, because Warzone actually does have a bigger skill gap. So it is, like, YouTubers in Warzone can play in real lobbies and get exciting footage and stuff like that. But with Warzone, it's just way more different skill gap, and I'm actually excited to play that. You can play with friends, you can have a lot more fun. There's just a lot more stuff you can do in that. But as far as for the multiplayer, I still want to do the same stuff. I like making videos for 2 reasons: for entertainment and for education. Those have always been my favorite things, and I love when I make a video, like I give the tip in Modern Warfare 3. Hey, if you think there's an enemy that could possibly be around that corner, aim down sights around every corner, and that tip helps so many people out, and that's awesome. I like doing that stuff, and I also like entertaining, right? So I still want to do the same sort of videos, best class setups, tips and tricks, and news and updates. And I'm going to explain how I'm going to go about it. With the best class setups, because a lot of it is just like the same attachment, so I can't really, there's not as much to talk about as there was in previous years where I could just go on for 10 minutes about the uniqueness of each attachment, and maybe you want this one, and maybe there's not much of that. It's just clear, hey, you want this one because they program this to be the best. So with class setup videos, I'm going to sort of try to get into it right off the bat, give you guys the exact class setup, and talk about nuance and take my time to talk about the nuances when it's needed. And then of course show you guys footage of me just basically wrecking people with that class setup, using that class setup, and doing good with it, just a good gameplay of that. And then as far as best tip videos, with the tip videos, I'm going to try to give people tips as far as playing against people their own skill level. Now those tips are completely different for people of a 0.8 KD and for people of a 2.5 KD, but I'm going to try to cover as many different variations. It's a lot harder to do tip videos in a skill-based game than it was in other games where the same sort of tips would apply to everyone. A lot of Call of Duty is just who your enemies are, and the enemies are going to be completely different depending on where in that scale you are. So that's what I'm going to talk about as far as tip videos. I still want to do those, and I want to, just give tips across the board for not, you see a lot of people making videos like how to get a nuclear, it's just dumb. How to get a nuclear is you got to join the lobby and go against worst enemies. If you're playing in your normal lobby, you're not going to get a nuclear. I think it was something like you guys know what I'm talking about with that, but what was I going to say? Yeah, the nuclear, yeah, so tip videos, I'm going to try to give tip videos that help people across the board. Best class setups, I'm going to just get right into it, talk about nuances when it's needed, but if it's the same stuff, I'm going to say, yo, it's the same stuff, here it is, and then show you guys an exciting gameplay, and then news and updates is pretty much the same stuff. So as far as my content, yeah, my content's not going to switch. I just want to explain to you guys a little bit more, because I was getting frustrated with the class setups, it's like I want to talk about it, and then I get all ready for the video, and I actually put in work, like for my class setups, I put in work to actually think and, use my knowledge from 10 years to figure out what is actually going to be the best setup. I don't just give you guys, hey, well, this one, maybe you want the laser sight on this one. I actually think about it, and, this is what you want. This is a good setup. And when it's the same thing every single time, I'm not going to say, hey, maybe it's this one and this one just to mix it up and make the video more entertaining. No, I'm going to say it's the same thing every single time. I'm going to give you guys the best real shit. That's just how I am. That's what I would want to hear, and that's what I'm going to do with the setup. So I'm just telling you guys, if it looks the same a lot of the time, it's because it is. But on my videos, I'm going to get into it right away. So even if it is the same, you'll hear me saying it's the same, and then you guys can, watch the gameplay, and I'll probably talk about the gun more once I get through the setup, for a commentary video, because I love doing commentaries. As you can see, I'm 40 fucking minutes deep just off the cuff on this, and then that's about it. As the news and updates, of course, is still the same sort of stuff. So like I said, I hope this video sort of explains it in depth. I want to make a few things clear here at the end, because I know probably a lot of people are going to support this video and understand, and probably some other people are going to be upset, and that's fine. You can think whatever you want, but for me, it's just about telling my truth, saying what I want to say. So as far as, let's just summarize it. Yeah, so basically Call of Duty, on the outside, it's still the exact same, but on the inside, almost every single thing about it has been tweaked slightly to favor a more closing of a skill gap, which favors a more casual player, which is, of course, for monetization purposes, for money purposes. And then as far as the skill-based matchmaking, yeah, when you guys are watching these if you're watching, for example, 100 to 0 gameplay, no one goes 100 to 0 against people their own skill level. I mean, how many games would you have to play statistically if you're a 1 of 1 to go 100 and 0? It would be insane. It would be absolutely insane. So it's just gameplays are going to be people, like I said, people are joining into lobbies. They don't want to be joining against the worst of the worst, but they also, you can't play against the best of the best and with your team being stacked with the worst side most of the time, because you're not going to get any entertaining footage. So it's sort of, you're joining into lobbies to get some footage that is decent and exciting to watch. That's what I'm, as far as me, I'm not going for any crazy gameplays. I don't really give a, that's why it's kind of just, yeah, you can get a double nuke if you want. If you join into the lowest of low lobby, you can probably get a double nuke in your first couple of tries, and maybe not first couple of tries, but in your first 10 games, if you're a good player, you can get a double nuke. So it's more about, join into those lobbies, which are lesser skill, but not the worst of the worst, to get that footage that is entertaining, but still real, you're fighting against real players that can shoot you a little bit. And, yeah, that's about it. It's understandable why people are upset at every level, but that's sort of what it is. I think people have this misconception of YouTubers are just scumbaggy people that want to beat up on they don't. But they want to create content for the hundreds of thousands of people that watch them. And that's just, the way it is, what you basically have to do to create content is you either have to completely switch and say, now I'm a competitive player, when traditionally no one wants to watch competitive players, and even, you know, and no one's really going to do that because everyone else will just be joining lobbies and people are just going to go watch them instead, right? Because that's the footage that people want to watch, and that's the footage that I want to watch too. You know, the amount of time that I've spent watching competitive COD versus watching, you know, public players for me, and that's just not counting tournaments, of course, because tournaments where there's something on the line, yeah, that's more ranked, that's where it matters. But just watching a scrim or a competitive public match versus watching someone play the game very smart and go for that 100-0 with some smart maneuvers, that's just more entertaining. So hopefully you guys did enjoy, at least to myself. If it's not more entertaining to you, you guys are free to go watch competitive footage instead of watching, you know, all these pub stompers. But if you look at the numbers, pub stompers is still doing really good in the numbers. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Like I said, yeah, that's basically everything. If you guys did watch to the end, just let me know. Comment down below saying I watched to the end. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section down below. And that's it. At Call of Duty, it's gonna be like this for a while because it's all about money for them, and I mean, it's cool. This helps grow the game, but it helps grow the game by cutting off and hurting a lot of the hardcore public match players. But it is what it is. It's probably going to keep going this way and keep tilting more towards closing the skill gap for at least a couple more years, I'd say, until money changes things. That's, you know, money is steering the ship, and this is the way that the ship has steered. So I'm excited for Warzone. I'm really excited for Warzone. I really do enjoy the multiplayer on this game. However, it's enjoyable when you're playing against people that are more average skill, not the most cracked players of all time. You know, playing against players of average skill, this game is pretty fun. I love the gunplay in the game. The map design is BS, the streaks are BS, but gunplay comes over those things. And even with the maps, I mean, you still have Nuketown, and there's actually some maps that I really do like, you know, Garrison or a Nuketown. But there's even like a Crossroad Strike or whatever. I like that map, but it still has the little nuances that just piss you off, like when they make the enemy spawn way at the back behind a rock, or they make the enemy spawn at the back with a bunch of boxes for head glitches to lower the skill gap, or they have that little one little cross thing, which just, you know, completely eliminates a lot of the ability to outplay. But yeah, that's about it. I think this video is long enough. Holy crap. I talked for 46 minutes. Hope you guys did enjoy this. Smack that like, and yeah, I'm gonna be uploading more videos. I just like, it's just so stupid. I didn't want to like I'm sitting there thinking of a class it up, and it's just, I just want to keep it real, tell you guys what it is, and then make the videos, because I'm not making, like, the reason I'm making videos is for entertainment for you guys, for education. It's not like I have to make these videos, you know. I'm doing it because I still want to make these videos, and that's basically it. Hope you guys did enjoy it. Drop a like, subscribe, catch you in the next one, and I'm out. Peace.